The city of Jerusalem had endured destruction and exile. The temple that once stood like a beacon of divine presence had been torn down, and its people scattered. But now, the captives were returning. The city breathed again, slowly, hesitantly, as walls were rebuilt and sacred roles restored. Among the returning families were the Levites, those set apart to serve in the house of the Lord. And among them stood Akkub, a gatekeeper. He was not a high priest. He did not enter the Holy of Holies or offer sacrifices at the altar. Akkub was not known for prophecies or miracles. His role was simpler, quieter, and yet essential. He was a guardian of the gates. The gates of the temple were more than just physical thresholds. They were spiritual boundaries, holy edges between the ordinary and the sacred, the profane and the pure. To guard them was to stand watch over the presence of God. Akkub's forefathers had been assigned this duty by King David himself. Generations before, during the Golden Age of Israel, the sons of Korah had been appointed as doorkeepers, their responsibility etched into the records of the kingdom. And now, after years of exile, after the shame of Babylon and the longing of lost worship, the task fell once more to the faithful, men like Akkub. He was a man of quiet strength, weathered by hardship but not broken. The return from exile had not been easy. Many of his peers had chosen to remain in foreign lands where life was simpler. But Akkub believed in something deeper, a sacred inheritance, a divine calling. His feet belonged on the holy hill of Zion. Each day, he took his place at the threshold of the temple, eyes alert, hands ready. He watched who entered, ensuring only the ritually clean approached. He stood not in armor but with discernment and faith. The gates he guarded were not merely wood and iron, but places where heaven met earth. He would rise before dawn, walking the perimeter, inspecting the hinges, checking for breaches. His post was not glamorous, and few thanked him. Yet he understood his task was woven into the rhythm of worship. Without order at the gates, there would be chaos in the courts. Without guardians like him, the sacred would become common. And so he stood, day after day, year after year. When the Levites sang their psalms, Akkub heard the notes from his station. When sacrifices were offered, the scent of burning incense reached his nostrils. He bore witness to the faith of a nation reborn, standing watch while the people brought their offerings, while the priests spoke blessings, and while the Spirit of the Lord moved among them. Sometimes, when the sun began to set and golden light danced upon the temple stones, Akkub would look out across the city and remember the words of the Psalms. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked. Those words were not poetry to him. They were his creed. He never wrote a psalm, never led a battle, never uttered prophecy. But he stood. In a world that shifted, Akkub held the line. He was a Levite, a son of the covenant, and a faithful gatekeeper. His name, Akkub, appears in the Chronicles of returned exiles. A name among names. A gatekeeper who believed that faithfulness in small things echoes louder in eternity than fame ever could. And in every generation that followed, as worshippers entered through the gates, his legacy remained, unseen but steadfast, like the very pillars of the temple he once served.